So did you take some time off? We're just waiting for us to go live on YouTube over there to make sure we're good. Did you take some time off?
Yeah, I was off all week. This week I was literally sick in bed doing nothing, sleeping. So
Oh, great. We are live on YouTube. That's working fine. I had to refresh. Okay. If you're ready,
I'm
because I
ready.
know you're not 100%, we might as well get right into it.
Let's get into it.
Welcome back to Futuretech, your weekly source for the latest in tech, innovation, and business. I'm the startup coach, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, John Irwin. How you doing today, John?
Good. How are you guys? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. Did you do anything exciting over the new year?
No, it was more of a recharge, so it was great. How about you?
I've just been working on a lot of stuff. We have a lot of things going on. I'm completely rechanging the website. We're adding a bunch of new programs. We're adding a bunch of new live events. We're adding a bunch of, so 2024 is going to be busy, and I think January is probably going to be the busiest just from getting things together. And I was doing a little recharging, but mostly just heads down working on stuff.
Awesome.
So let's get into it. Our first article here is energy harvesting for wearable technology.
Yeah.
Somehow it used to be you could wind your watch and do some stuff. What's changed?
Yeah. So, excuse me. Sorry. There's some really cool stuff that's happening with energy harvesting using sweat. So wearable devices typically have relied on batteries for power, or like you said, you have a watch that can self-wind or that can wind itself. So I guess that is a form of energy harvesting, but harvesting energy from ambient sources could hold tremendous power to eliminate the needs for batteries pretty much altogether. Let's hope, or at least have your wearable devices last for months instead of days, or weeks instead of days, which would be great. And in this article, there's been some exciting progress in developing technologies that can scavenge usable energy from human motion, thermal differentials, light exposure, and other ambient energy sources. And so a few approaches that researchers are exploring include piezoelectric generators that convert mechanical energy from body movement into electricity, as well as triboelectric generators that utilize static electricity. And we all know we get a lot of static electricity walking around the house and different things like that. Your hair stands on end. So, but this is producing it through friction between dissimilar materials. So they've created prototypes, and these prototypes have managed to power wearables solely through human sweat or kinetic energy from casual hand motions. And that's kind of similar to the self-winding watches. The one thing, though, is solar does remain pretty much the most proven approach. So what we could look at is motion-based and hybrid energy harvesting designs, and those have shown promising results. The thing that is probably going to make this the most successful is they're going to have to make sure they choose the right materials. They optimize the circuit design so that it minimizes current drain. So it may be possible, if they do that, to generate energy through basic health and activity trackers. So there's huge implications, anything from long-term biomedical implants to wilderness emergency equipment. And it could enable lifelong tracking of large wildlife without burdensome batteries that must be replaced periodically, different things like that. So it's not only looking to power standalone devices, but also charge onboard energy storage like capacitors, supercapacitors that could enable bursts of high power draw. So it's really, really cool. Really interesting stuff, especially now with everything with the IoT technology and different things like that. You've got all these cameras in your house and different things like that. So obviously we're talking outdoors as well. So yeah, really interesting stuff that's happening.
They put it on a bison in the article to track it and do some stuff with it. I see in my mind starts to go through all sorts of potential applications for this energy harvesting technology. What are some of the potential applications before I let my sci-fi mind go crazy?
I knew you're going to get there. So there's a whole bunch. So you could have sensors embedded in infrastructure like bridges, roads, pipes to monitor vibration, strain, and that can work directly with AI and machine learning and different things like that. You could have smart apparel. So you could have footwear or athletic gear that tracks biomechanics. There are some devices out there right now, but they all require batteries. So all of this stuff is more of just figuring applications that could benefit from energy harvesting. So harvesting from industrial building vibrations, temperature differentials for powering remote HVAC or RPM sensors, green charging, so consumer electronics on the go by harvesting Wi-Fi or Bluetooth signals. We know there's tons of those signals out in urban areas. Powering IoT sensors, harvesting energy from automotive components to power onboard diagnostic, transmission of telemetry without utilizing the vehicle battery. One cool one I thought of was the kinetic floor tiles are a smart roadway. And I've seen this in other articles where there's a roadway, I don't want to say Norway, but I want to say Norway, but I'm not sure. But they've designed a road that as you drive over it, there are I don't know what's under the road, but it ends up generating energy from people just driving over this road. So really cool stuff. Generating electricity from passing foot or vehicle traffic, different things like that. Tons of applications. I didn't even get into the biomedical implants, which I'm sure you'll want to get into.
The road thing, I've heard about that. I've seen some articles on that, and I don't have it in front of me, but the cost of building one of these roads per kilometer is like putting that system in a road is like 1.2 million per kilometer or something. Never mind the effect on the grid that charges the cars as they drive or park and stuff. It's an interesting idea. Anyway, we're moving away, but I like the idea of the under the road because I think that's what we probably need in all our parking lots.
Yeah, there was something else, something similar, but maybe not. But what they are looking to try to design is a way so that you're driving your EV and it gets charged wirelessly as you're driving, which
yeah, that was the concept. So yeah, we didn't clear it up. So if you're driving your EV down this road, it just charges while you're going. My thought is that is great, except why don't we put that in parking lots?
Yeah.
Because you're not putting that on the 400 highway or whatever. It's probably not going to work. You have to be going a certain speed.
Yeah.
You're going to tear up any downtown for years and years to try and put this in.
Yeah.
It's better to me to say, you know what, every mall, every parking lot, every whatever should put something this because you're going to park your car there for a couple hours and you're charging while it's there. It makes way more sense to me. It's easier to implement. Because your car's sitting longer than it is driving.
Absolutely. Yeah. To be honest, so here's my thing. I'm not a big EV fan. I think like you've got these double A cell batteries in your car, just all thousands of them. And we've talked about this so far. The technology is not there and might get there, but I think there's a much better use case going forward for hydrogen, and we could even turn those roads into hydrogen generating roads as opposed to electric or both even. So that's where I would like to see it go, but who knows where we're going to go. It's whoever lobbies the most, right? At the end of the day.
Absolutely. And to get back to these specifically, they talked about printing 3D sensors and using these for animals. So putting them on that small, like a little patch type thing that you stick on an animal's skin or whatnot. Are we going to be able to make these on our own in the future? Like little Susie, I'm not sure, her friend was sick yesterday, so let's print out a thing, slap it on her forehead, send to school. We'll get a little alert for at the first sign of her temperature going up or a couple other things going wrong, and we'll pull her out. You see something like that happening?
Absolutely. Yeah. You've got these 3D printers. So you can print, there's a few ways. You can print the sensor components. You can integrate during printing. So the sensors like temperature probes or I guess force sensors that you can get a sticker and kind of you can print conductive traces. There's a whole bunch of different ways that you can that you could print potential 3D sensors. It's all in how to get it to the masses, how to make sure that it's very dummy proof, if that makes sense. Because if you're using it for any kind of health reasons, you're going to want to make sure that you're getting accurate readings and different things like that. So I think there's a possibility. Will the medical industry allow it? Who knows? But you never know, right?
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see how that goes, because as soon as the information is out there and you can do it yourself, allowing it as a whole becomes mute at some point. I just see this doing very interesting things, like it's the combination of the heat, the sweat, and the movement that we're being able to generate more and more and do more stuff. So I put on my what if I was a jerk hat and say, what are the potential abuses for this? Now, like, can I print a GPS tracker and stick it on anyone I want to track? Or I can think of various other nefarious, these are little stickers that just charge itself. You start moving around, I'll know where you are. And then when you stop, that's great, because then I know where you are.
Yeah. Well, like we've got the air tags right now, which last quite a while, but yeah, there could be infinitely, depending on how it's, how that device is going to harvest the energy. Yeah, potentially there could be, there's always use cases like with 3D printers, you can potentially 3D print a gun, right? And, so
absolutely, that's what I mean. Once it's out there, it's out there. You can rule it all you want, but it's mute.
Yeah, but I don't think we should, just because of that. I don't think we should hinder it. I think there's always going to be nefarious uses for anything that comes out, and people are always going to find those.
Yeah, I mean, can we use it for detect the either if you're pregnant or if you're the best time for pregnancy? Women are tracking their temperature and this and that. We just have a little thing that alerts your phone that says, "Yep, now's the time if you want to."
Yeah.
If you want to be pregnant, now's the time.
Yeah, that's
ding,
a
ding, ding.
Yeah, there's like right now there's even a pill that you can take that will transmit images from inside your body live as it runs through your body.
Yeah, what about diabetics who want to get an alert around when their insulin level drops? Your insulin level dropping now, you better do something about it, and it's automatically tracking. You don't have to do anything.
Yeah, and less invasive, because right now they've got these invasive. I didn't realize those Dexcom and those things, which are great. Don't get me wrong; they're great for diabetics. But apparently, you've got to change them out every few days, and it's painful because of the glue and stuff that's being used and different things like that. So, I think that there is huge potential for anything that you need to track on a daily basis. And there's one that me personally, I would love to figure out how to track and keep track of, and that's dopamine levels. So with my ADHD, it'd be great to be able to track that and figure out what is the best thing for me and my dopamine, right? So there's a lot of different wearables and biomedical use cases that could be that it could be used for. Even that the Neuralink that we were talking about, there we go. There's another use case, right? So,
yeah, absolutely. It could keep it powered. I mean, I'm not sure. We'll talk about this at the end as we start going through this. I'm the dystopian future person. I think you're the optimist here. I see the world crumbling, where you see the Star Trek wonder future where everyone's getting along. I see they're using these on animals for tracking and whatnot. This is probably a potential good idea for pets, even.
Yeah.
For all that kind of stuff. Do you see using this kind of technology on devices, specifically outside of uh, biological beings, like putting it on a car, bicycle wheel, for example?
Yeah, for sure. Anything that has the potential to create energy, either kinetically, piezoelectric, or triboelectric, anything that has that potential, I think it should be explored, and I think we should definitely have it because, again, I feel like the future is like we talk about how water is kind of sorry. Um, your time is valuable, water is valuable. I think data is going to be even more valuable come the future. And we look at all these different companies, and they do have devices and they do offer services, but their biggest value is the data that they harvest. And I think the more data that can be harvested and looked at, well, if we're going dystopian way, yes, there's other implications that way, but there are having more data can help to create better, more durable tires, better, more durable everything in the future, if that's what they want to do.
I don't know about more durable. Um, you talk about more durable tires. They're not going to make you more durable tires if it's a capitalistic economy. They're just going to put a sensor in it to tell you to buy new ones when it's so you don't, you buy them 2-3 months earlier than you normally would have.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. They could potentially do that, right? Got an
Well,
alert in your phone.
potentially. Let's be clear. If they're
Yeah,
doing
okay,
it, they're
there you
going to
go.
do it.
Just like the light bulb, right? The light bulb, if you bought it back in 1910, in the early 1900s, it lasted for 100 years. And the new bulbs the new incandescent bulbs that they came out with, they made them so that they would fail within a few months, right? So you have to keep buying them.
Yeah, I see, yeah, absolutely. And with this kind of technology, I can see all sorts of like uses where we talk about bicycle. Throwing one in a bicycle wheel or a pedal could power a light, an alarm, a GPS,
Mhm,
anything potentially because you're moving. So
mhm.
this comes back to how much power can you actually generate being realistically. Uh, and let's get to the real burning question on everyone's mind. Am I going to be able to use this to charge my phone?
You know what? Potentially, it depends on how efficient and what technology. It comes back to circuit design. It comes back to energy harvesting methods. It comes back to a whole bunch of hybrid different things. Um, and so, like I know right now, you can get a solar panel that can charge your phone if you use it outside, and it's slow, but it can still charge your phone. Um, I think I would say we're 5-10 years away from something from a device that you can wear that will charge your phone as you're wearing it. And but that could be early, that could be late. I don't know. I know that I've seen these sensors for many years. Um, I just don't know where that technology is going to be going in the next how fast it's going to be developed, because we have the battery industry, right, who want to sell you batteries. Again, back to this dystopian stuff. We have the battery industry that wants to sell you batteries, so they don't want you to have a wearable that means that you don't have to have a battery anymore, right?
Well, I'm not saying you don't have to have a battery. I mean, one, we don't necessarily have to have a battery in microelectronics. So potentially, because the little power that they take can be powered by these other things. So that allows you to do a whole bunch of things that at battery level, there's probably not many people making any money at that level anyway, maybe, so you take a step back. It's
Yeah.
more of along the lines of, um, can I, we are so addicted to our screens. We see people walking around like this all the time. I run events. Every event, there's 2 or 3 people coming to me. Hey, do you have a charger for my phone? And everyone's got a different phone. I'm just thinking, you know, how much exercise do I have to do to get 1%? If I have like a say I'm wearing a shirt that's full of these sensors that goes to one of those magnetic charging things in my pocket where my phone is, and off I go. And how much exercise do I need to do for 1%? And with everyone's addiction to the obesity to our phones, can we cure the obesity epidemic? I don't know why I can't say that word. The obesity epidemic by making people exercise to charge the devices.
Yeah, well, I do know that current technology, if you put like a piezoelectric generator in your shoe, you could probably generate anywhere from 5 to 10 milliwatts per step under normal walking conditions. And then if you have a triboelectric nano generator on your wrist or arm, you might be able to generate maybe, I don't know, 1 to 3 milliwatts from casual arm swing motions. That's not much. That's not much at all. So you have to be like, we need that technology to get further up there, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so I guess we're 5 or 10 years away, is what you're saying?
Potentially. Again, this is not. I'm not an expert in the field. I'm just a geek, but I do think that there are. I think we're getting there.
All right. Well, let's jump to the next topic.
Yeah.
Wearable AI pin has launched. So this is interesting from all sorts of levels, yet I think it's one of those things that's just going to disappear. Tell us about this AI pin. What's it called? What's it do?
Yeah, so it's a new company called Humane, and it's led by founders with decades of experience at companies pursuing major advances in AI and hardware. I think one comes from Apple. So they've launched a wearable device called Cloe that aims to make artificial intelligence assistants more helpful, harmless, and honest. So what's interesting about Cloe is that it's designed from the ground up to focus on conversational AI safety. Excuse me. And it takes the form of this small square pin that can be worn or placed anywhere within earshot. It uses on-device far-field speakers and microphones to understand queries and carry on natural conversations. This is meant to avoid privacy and data security issues by not uploading any personal information to cloud servers, which is interesting. So and I just remembered the founders the executives are companies from Apple, Amazon, Microsoft. So they saw issues with how big tech approached AI development and adoption. And Claude is meant to establish design principles and techniques for safety-oriented conversational AI from the start, which is red flag to me. Why would a company do this? Because we just talked about how data is like the new oil kind of going forward. So some key aspects to the design is they've employed on-device processing to avoid data collection. They're using privacy-focused training techniques. They're integrating oversight systems for monitoring interactions and providing transparency into how responses are generated. And that one part is integrating oversight systems for monitoring interactions. That's interesting to me. Okay. But anyways, so again, I don't know if this is going to be just a fad or if actually people are going to adopt it. I've heard of people who are looking to buy it. The price point is okay. I think it's $699. So it's cheaper than a new phone or than a flagship phone. But it's going to be interesting to see. So they say that they plan to continue advancing techniques for self-supervised learning and constitutional AI through ongoing research collaborations. But if this is a true AI and it's going to be learning, essentially, if they really are not going to be connected to any kind of cloud, then it's kind of going to be a DOA when you buy it, because how you're going to get updated AI, how are you there's just too many questions that I have around the data privacy and security that just doesn't make sense to me. And maybe it's just me, I don't understand it as much, but after reading this article, I have more questions than answers.
Yeah. Um,
And maybe you do too.
I've got a lot of questions. It's obviously, you say not connect to the cloud, but it's obviously connected to your stuff
Yeah.
because apparently it can manage your email and like, so I can be walking around and I'm not quite sure how it talks to me. Do I have headphones and it talks through my phone or it just speaks out loud? How does that work? Oh,
Yeah, that's the
or
other thing.
just text to my hand like it does a projector text thing.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting. So, I'm pretty sure you're gonna have to be wearing earbuds. So we're gonna go back to the days of the Bluetooth in your ear, all 24/7. Which, hey, the wearable recharging stuff would be good for this.
I'm already there, so
Yeah.
with
Um,
the headphones 24 hours.
Yeah, so they're saying that there's yeah, again, when it comes to the interaction, and yeah, if you don't have a Bluetooth headset in or Bluetooth earbuds or headphones, then what is it going to be talking out loud, and then where's the privacy there? Um, so there's apparently what they're saying is that there's going to be training focused on to avoid harm rather than monetization of user data is what they're saying. They're also saying that they're going to be regular audits conducted by external parties to check for vulnerabilities or privacy risks, which is kind of cool for cybersecurity. But again, as far as again, it's a company, and what are they going to share? What are they not going to share? They have they have the choice, right? They're not going to be forced to be sharing this stuff.
Yeah. So going back to how do you get updates from the cloud? You have to go and plug it in somewhere. I'm sure it's got a
Yeah,
USB or whatever interface. You plug it into charge and it, I'm sure, syncs up and you can download the latest software and share data and stuff. So that's all can sync. Um, Safety is always makes me laugh at that they're not going to use your data. Well, no, they're going to use your data. They're going to use the data to improve their AI. When you sync up stuff, it's going to
exactly.
send, were you hearing properly? Did you think, were you happy with the response? How many times did he change? You're writing emails and they're not happy with it. How many times did they have to change that? What did they want? Tell me they're not using that to make their AI better.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, like, to say they're not using your data, I mean, is ridiculous.
Yeah. All they're saying is that they're using advanced techniques like differential privacy during internal model updates to prevent leakage. That's all they've said. So what does
Okay.
that mean? What are advanced techniques? Like sure, you could probably anonymize the data, but they're still at the end of the day, they're still going to they're still going to have to use your data.
Yeah, and how much functions is really gonna is it gonna be able to do for you? Like, the concept of it helping me do some emails is both interesting and, um doesn't sound great. Like, the idea, it probably helped me get through my 17,000 unread emails, but if you ever use ChatGTP to generate emails or to generate everything, it's very verbose. It doesn't, so
Yeah,
there's stuff you'd want to take out. You don't just let it go. So how that back and forth editing, no, remove this, remove that. Like, am I looking at something on my hand? Is it reading it to me? Um,
exactly. Yeah,
it
you're gonna have
it
to. It's got a little projector that you put your hand out and it projects onto your hand. I don't think that's going to be very conducive for reading emails that you're going to want to send, right? Um, I feel like they've got an interesting concept. I don't feel it's market ready, but again, I'm not an expert. I know I love my tech, and that's not a tech thing that I think that I would use at this point, especially when you're talking about, hey, what if you have to send an email that's 3 paragraphs long, and how are you going to edit that? Are you going to say, oh, change this word to this word, because you don't have an interface where you can type, right? So it's gonna be interesting to see how they tackle that, if they even are able to.
Yeah, I mean, it might work if you say, "Give me the transactional emails, yes, no,
Yeah,
set a date, accept this, don't accept that," so you can get through those. But those, aren't the ones waiting around forever. Like, let's face it, the ones in my email are either spam,
yeah,
um, or from somebody I don't know and I haven't bothered with it, or is a long, I have to go look some stuff up, put some information together and send it back. So it takes time.
Yeah.
And so when I first opened the email, I didn't do those things. So that's why it goes back to unread. And so later I'm going to have to deal with it.
Yeah.
So the hard ones are going to be really hard with this interface. I'm just curious. I'd like where we're going. The combination of something like this and the wireless charging technology that we had in the previous article is interesting because you can be more productive on the go. Potentially you can have some more information about things you didn't know. But I'm not sure, we are hyper connected globally and hyper disconnected locally. And so when we do stuff like this, I wonder if we're just more and more disconnecting ourselves locally, because I need this AI pin to tell me what's happening around me because I'm not paying any attention. Because tell me the nutritional value of this item because I don't want to read the box. Like I when you start reading some of the use cases it has, I start to worry about, are we just unplugging from real life and letting computers take everything over for us?
Yeah, I think so. I actually, so the tell me the caloric value of different things, I think is interesting if you're at a restaurant, because they don't, I know they're supposed to put it on the menu, but a lot of them don't.
Absolutely. Nutrition of that kind of stuff where you just see a plate of food and whatnot.
Yeah.
That is potential interesting. But the problem is, again, the interface. You've got a pin that's sitting on your lapel or whatever. How do you get it to take a picture of the food
Yeah.
and only your plate of food?
Mhm.
Just okay, do you have to pick it up, put it in front of the thing? Do you take it
Yeah.
off, do
You
this?
don't
Like,
have
and
a
now
preview option, right? You can't align it and then say take the picture.
absolutely. So this becomes the whole interface, trying to hide it away and make it part of your life. Now all of a sudden you're like everyone else taking a picture with their phone of their food. And if you're doing that, then why do you need this pin?
Yeah.
So I just, because you can do that with your phone. Tell
Yeah.
how what's the and so I only want to eat half of this because I'll either go over my calorie intake or whatever, too much salt. So yeah, there's interesting things here. I'm just not sure what the practicality is. And voice interfaces are still coming along. Like I don't hear anybody talking about Amazon Alexa or Google Home anymore.
No, I don't even. I have mine unplugged for data privacy reasons, right? And so I don't even. Yeah, I
My
don't.
Google Home is out in the garage with the microphone off and is used as a Bluetooth speaker.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's
And
all
it's a
mine is.
crappy Bluetooth
It's
speaker.
a crappy Bluetooth speaker. Exactly. Yeah, it's. But I know that Alexa. I know that people do who are integrated into Amazon's ecosystem. They use it for ordering things and different things like that, and it can be useful. But again, they're limited use cases, and so I think that's what this pin is a limited use case as well. That it could be a niche market like the Pebble watch that grew, but that grew into other things, obviously, right? And I think that potentially this could grow into other devices that we don't even know yet. This could just, be a great proof of concept and from Humane. And again, me being the Optimus Prime here of the two, always. But again, yeah, in its current form, I don't see the use case for myself or for others that I know either.
No, I mean, back to the plate of food issue. You tap the thing and say, "Hey, take a picture of the plate of food closest to you," I
Yeah,
guess. And then tell me the caloric. Like now, you're saying all this out loud. Like this is
exactly.
part of the reason why you don't see all that many people using Siri or these things out in public because talking out loud and commanding things like this, it seems to be embarrassing now. That social awkwardness is going away because we hear people on their phones everywhere all the time now
Yeah,
in public places. But so maybe we're starting to evolve. But as soon as you have to do that, you're publicly making everyone aware. Like is that better
yeah. I don't think
than
so.
just taking a picture with your phone? Like I So it's interesting. I like some of the stuff. But yeah, we'll have to see. Is it gonna be automatic? If it's not connected, it's not gonna be automatically be able to, well, actually it is, see, it's connected, just not to an AI cloud,
Yeah.
to see potentially, you could put one of these on all the cops so they could automatically identify any wanted people by their pictures.
Yeah. Honestly, I would love something like that where I wear glasses, I'm walking around, and it shows me the faces of everyone, and it gives me their names and their profiles from LinkedIn. I would love that.
Yeah, I mean, that move into that again. This is similar. That concept, I run events all the time. I've got
Yeah.
100 people in the room, and people come up to me. And nowadays, as I'm getting older, you look just like, but I know that you're not this person. And yeah, I would love it if we were already connected.
Yeah.
That you would, give me a little short about who you are, summary, maybe whatever.
Yeah.
Because that would help. But, again, if we're already connected, otherwise, doing AI facial recognition across the board, like, there's rules going on? Aren't they doing regulations? Everyone's saying, yeah, you can't do it, except we're doing it.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, isn't that what the EU said? You can't do it, except we're doing it in all our airports and border crossings and public malls and
Yeah.
whatever.
Only the
But you
government.
can't do it.
Yeah.
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 All right, let's go on to the next one here.
Oh.
I scrolled down too far, which is this wearable device that can help reduce stress.
Yeah.
And it's from a company that comes out of the University of Waterloo.
Yeah, Canadian. Go for homegrown. So Roga, it's a startup company that's developed a wearable mental wellness device that's aimed at reducing stress and anxiety symptoms. And apparently, the device uses a non-invasive nerve stimulation behind the ears, combined with guided meditations through a paired app. So they've done over a dozen clinical studies that show that this type of peripheral nerve stimulation used daily for 20 to 60 minutes over 6 weeks can decrease stress symptoms by up to 50%, which is kind of interesting. It provides an alternative for those who can't afford access to therapy, or can't access therapy, or don't respond well to medication, or who don't want to take medication. The cool thing, which I like, is that these co-founders both have personal experience with anxiety disorders. So they got their heart in it, and see a need for a more effective and accessible solutions. The device is currently being used by individuals and purchased by businesses to curb employee stress and burnout. Burnout is kind of interesting to me. I don't know. Yeah, it's everyone's different for burnout, so that's kind of interesting. But stress is stress, and anxiety is anxiety. So that's different. So the company's goals are to achieve medical device certification to better serve anxiety patients. And they've also joined U of W's Velocity Startup Incubator and Accelerator, which is one of the better ones out there, to help progress through funding, advertising, and different partnerships. But since joining, they've launched their first product, they've secured corporate clients, they've received international recognition, and they're pursuing additional research projects. So just to go to show, I don't know how long they've been a part of it, but really interesting to see.
Yeah, this is really interesting. I'm curious, like, they've come a long way as a startup and their progress is great. I'm curious about the device a little bit. Like,
Yeah.
What are the side effects potentially of this electronic stimulation of the area behind of your head?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So it's scary because they're placing small electrodes behind the helix of each ear. And this area apparently is dense with nerves connected to the vagus nerve, which impacts different things in the system. So I'm a little worried about that. What if this thing gets hacked as well? Because you hear medical devices getting hacked and different things like that, IoT devices and things like that. So I'm worried about that. What about the long-term uses of this nerve stimulation? Again, something external to the body. You're doing something that's not normal to the body. What's the long-term effects of this, right? Don't get me wrong. I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, it's interesting. What if it's hacked? I'm not worried about that because it's just a little device. You just take it off. Like, what if it starts going? You just take it off. What's the big deal?
Sure.
That area. What many people probably don't know about me is I'm a Reiki master, and energy and healing is something I do. And behind the ears is a very it's a well-known spot. You rub behind the ears to de-stress. It helps in headaches and a bunch of other things. So is this just the electronic equivalent of rubbing behind your ears?
Yeah, potentially. Yeah, like in saying woosah, like in Bad Boys, like the captain used to do to calm himself down. There is a cool little hack that I learned about for panic attacks and different things like that. That is not technological, but you get a pack of salt if you're getting a panic attack or you're getting anxiety. Put it on your tongue, and it distracts your brain. And it actually works. It's really cool.
Very interesting. I didn't know.
No, yeah. Swear to God, it works, and you can apparently it works with sour candy as well, but I've never haven't tested that out. But yeah,
there was no picture in this article of the behind the ear device.
No.
Can you wear glasses with it? Does it interfere with headphones that go around or over the ear? Do you know? Like, you probably don't know, but
I don't. It's but I think they'll design it such that maybe you wear it on like the device itself hooks to the back of your neck or the back of your collar or something, and then the electrodes go and attach behind the ear. That's what I'm thinking it would be, but I'm not sure. It's
yeah, I just don't know how thick or thin this is going to be, because obviously they want you to use it for how long? 20 to 30 minutes a day.
Yeah.
20 to 60 minutes once a day for 20 to 60 minutes for 6 weeks. So it's got to last an hour. So assume it's big.
Yeah. Yeah, well, actually, I think I just as we're talking, I think I found it. So it looks like it's like it clips over your ears. So yeah, you're
Okay.
gonna. It's rogalife.com. So it kind of clips over the ears. So I don't know if you can wear glasses or stuff like this. There you go.
Yeah, I'm just seeing. So. Yeah, no over the ear headphones then with this.
No.
But I guess it's only, a few minutes a day and it's supposed to de-stress.
Yeah. And
hang on. So it looks like it's enjoy one of our hundreds of guided sessions from our app. Are you supposed to do that while you're using?
Yeah, it plugs into your phone.
So it is probably bone headphones.
There's bone conducting plus the electrodes. Yeah.
Is that what it is?
I think so. Or maybe not. Maybe you're, because I see there's a picture of someone wearing headphones or earplugs. So.
Okay. Yeah. It's all right. It's a little confusing. We'll have to look at that. We delve a little deeper next time, but it's interesting. I'm curious, like, if the device does anything, because you apparently wear the device, then you open the app and enjoy one of their guided sessions from our team of psychotherapists and meditation instructors tailored to dealing with stress and burnout. So what you're saying is 20 to 60 minutes of guided meditation every day is going to reduce your stress, whether or not you're using this device.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? I see a lot of potential for it. I'm not one. I can't do meditation. I can't do that. I've tried it, and maybe this will help. But yeah, I know there's a lot of people that just can't can't do meditation. So we'll have to see how it works. Would it work with just the electrodes without the guided meditation? Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, we're making some assumptions by looking at the website, so don't necessarily take my skepticism as fact. It's interesting. If you're looking to try to do guided meditation and it's not for you, try there's a different style called walking meditation. I don't know, you get your headphones, you listen to, there's different walking meditation where you go and walk. And that works a lot better for a lot of people because the distraction you need is occupied by the different things going on where you have to step over this and move around that while you're focusing on the audio. So it allows you to kind of start focusing on the audio and let the other stuff go. And I'd try that if you're having difficulty with any kind of sitting meditation or whatnot, because it does help.
Okay, interesting.
I don't know if shoving electrodes on your head or in the previous episodes in your head are really the future. Are we solving problems caused by tech with more tech only leading to more problems caused by tech?
I think so. And that's the thing. Like we're if we go back to one of our previous episodes, the Wegovia, the semaglutides, right? We're solving nutritional problems with more, or we're solving problems that we've created with creating more problems, kind of thing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and is it tech for tech's sake, or are we solving problems? I like that we can have stress. I like that we're teaching people good habits. I like all those things. I'm just not sure if tech needs to be the answer to everything.
It seems like it is for now. It seems like
definitely.
Yeah.
And here I am hosting the Futuretech podcast, and I help tech startups, and I work with tech all the time. I've worked with tech my whole life, but I'm starting to, after doing this for, I don't know, 40 years, you start to wonder, it's like, maybe buying a farm somewhere and unplugging for the rest of my life may be the best thing for me.
Yeah. It could be potentially, and there are studies that show that less tech can be beneficial, less screen time, all that sort of stuff. So is this just to help us so that we can remain with that high screen time that we're using and different things like that? So it's really interesting. I do think that there is a good opportunity here for people who do have stress and anxiety, who are on medication, who maybe want to get off medication, who don't want to explore other non-tech options, which is fine. Like, it's great. It's to each their own, but yeah.
So this has been great. This has been great. Nice to see you again in the new year. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
You got anything coming up? This is going out. We're switching the episode releases to Saturdays on the podcast. Just give me time to edit it and get it out. So this will go out next Saturday. You got anything coming up that you want to talk about?
No, it's going to be, well, other than attending your event in January. I think there's another event that I'm attending, but it's going to be a pretty quiet, just head down, focus on work, getting things done. How about you, Craig?
I have lots of stuff going on. We're going to be doing a lot more of these live events. One of our most popular live events is coming back, Startup Pitch Battle. We're going to be doing Startup Face-Off. We're going to be doing a bunch of stuff. We've got our Startup Investor Drinks. If you're in the Toronto GTA area, come on downtown for January 25th. We're at Workhouse, not at Futurepreneur. We're at Workhouse on January 25th, so that'll be great. We've got co-founder matchup event on February 14th at Workhouse. It's not been posted yet, but it'll be posted on Monday. It'll be posted by the time this comes out. Lots of stuff going on, and look for announcements of lots of other events, because we're really ramping up the year to give our community a lot more of what they need: mentoring, coaching, content that's designed to accelerate their business and move it forward.
Absolutely.
Awesome. All right. Any changes in the grants and loans business that's happening? Like, is this a good time? People need to be applying for stuff.
We've got a potential for changes coming up for SR&ED. They're supposedly looking at it this year and reevaluating it. So we'll have to see. I think we talked about that in the last episode. But this is the year that apparently they're going to be evaluating it. So we'll have to see how what comes of that. I don't know if they'll, again, even if something comes out this year, who knows if they implement it this year or next year, but in the next couple of years, there's going to be some changes for sure.
And if you're a startup who are trying to navigate whether they should be doing SR&ED or IRAP or what other grants are available and they want to reach out to you, what do they do?
Absolutely. Reach out to me on LinkedIn. We'll post my LinkedIn in the link here, but yeah, feel free to reach out. The best way to reach me right now.
All the links that we mentioned and all links to contact us will be on the YouTube later and are in the podcast show notes. Thank you, everyone. This has been the Futuretech podcast. We'll see you all next time.
Thanks, guys.